Nom 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 nom. Oi.
Hello everyone, my name is Polina and I'm a knitaholic. Welcome back to my channel Tikva Hobbies about knitting and crochet. And in today's episode we're going to talk a little bit about my works in progress, about plans for the future, and I'll explain why there hasn't been a podcast episode for quite a while. And I hope that this time I won't take any big pauses later on. So grab your favorite drink, make yourself comfortable, and let's start it. First of all, 2 weeks ago we had a vacation and returned only last Wednesday to be precise, and I can't say that I could knit a lot on that vacation. Not that I didn't want to. I grabbed 2 skeins of yarn, sock yarn. Here it is. It's Casa Grande sock yarn, so 75% merino and 25 polyamide, and it's Talon yarn, well, classical sock yarn, 210 meters in 50 grams, a Christmas present from my mom. So I was planning to make a pair of socks for my husband. He loves my handmade socks and wears them gladly. But I made a huge mistake. I grabbed 2.5 millimeter needles with me, and that's all. I had bamboo needles, circulars to knit on the plane, and steel needles to work on holiday. Yeah. Well, everything seemed to be all right, but then when I picked the stitchers, cast on the stitchers, and started working, I realized that the socks were too loose, way too loose. I first cast on 84 stitches, then I went down 8 stitches and 76, and still when I cast on 72 stitches, they were still way too loose for my husband's feet, and I realized that something was wrong, that I really needed smaller needles for this yarn. I have knitted socks on both 225 millimeter needles and 2.5 millimeter needles, and I couldn't imagine that this tiny difference in needle size would change it so dramatically that I couldn't knit the socks at all. So I had to put them aside and work a little bit on something else while I read a couple of books and enjoyed my time near the sea. So that was a lovely compensation, but unfortunately I don't have a finished object here. And as soon as I got back home, I cast on using 2.25 millimeter needles because I was curious. I was curious why it was like this, why everything was wrong. I cast on 76 stitches, and still, if I don't control my tension, which I do not when I watch a show, whatever, when I don't look at my knitting, I can knit pretty easily, like 2x2 rib, while watching a show and not looking at my knitting at all. But then my tension could vary, and on this yarn it's really noticeable. So I'm afraid I need to either unrip all of this beginning of the sock, or at least like 4 or 5 rounds and start all over again. It's not much actually. I did it, I guess it took me an hour maybe, or even less. Yeah, I'm sure that it was even less while watching something. So 225 millimeter needles work the best for socks for me. That's for the socks. I'm not sure that I'm going to work on them and finish by next episode. Just a little experiment to see which needle size is best. So 225 is the best option for me, 76 stitches. It's going to be 2x2 rib and then plain stockinette up to the toe, because he wears socks in boots, and the simpler they are, the more durable they are. Or it could be some ribbed pattern, but not like Aaron's, yeah, and difficult, complicated, yeah, elaborate patterns. These are not suitable for men's socks, at least for my husband's ones. So that's regarding the socks. Unfortunately, not a finished object here. When I came back home, I immediately, well, after I tried the tension on the socks, I picked my sweater, and returning viewers, I believe, are really curious and excited to find out, to learn, yeah, what's happening with the sweater. So here it is. That's what it looks like right now. I finished the sleeves and the neck. Well, actually, first I worked up to the point where you separate the sleeves from the main body and worked on the collar. I'm really happy with how this joint of the collar and the sweater turned out. I picked stitches on both sides, here and on the back, at the same time, simultaneously, worked 3 or 4 rounds stockinette. Well, first I worked 1 round row stitches to create this beautiful, like, ridge, yeah, border, and then I worked 4 rounds stockinette and knitted 2 layers together and proceeded with 1 by 1 rib, finishing with tubular cast off, yeah, like using a needle. Nothing particularly difficult here, but I'm really glad with how this line turned out, and when I put it on, well, it's pretty nice. The only thing here I'm not quite happy about is that I started the blue stripe too early. I wish I worked maybe 4 or 5 more rounds of green. This would make this area look nicer. You'll see it a bit later when I show it on myself. I'll put it on in a moment. So that's what I wish I had done differently. And I'm still a bit not sure about the angle at which my raglan line is going. Well, why am I using continuous? Yeah, how it turned out, yes, this raglan line. Because if you have more experience in working raglan sweaters, garments, whatever than me, please share in the comments. I'll show it what it looks like. Please share if you like it or how you would change it, because now it seems that I should have like put the raglan lines a bit differently, and the sleeve should have taken more stitches. So probably like maybe 4 more stitches, 2 at each side. So the sleeve should probably be a little bit wider, so the line goes a bit closer to this area. Yes, not to the arm, but to the body. Yeah, so I guess it could have been different and probably better, but I can't say I have a lot of experience working raglan sweaters, garments, whatever. By the way, I haven't said anything about what I'm wearing right now. This hoodie, I made it, yes, right, it was 4 years ago now, so quite a while. And it's really comfy, and I wear it mostly at home actually these days. But today I decided to put it on. Why not show it to you? It has a hood at the back. It could be worn like this, but I never do it. So it's normal size. I mean, the hood, it's not very small, so you can wear it on your head, but for me it's mostly a detail. Yeah, it's not that I use it. There is also a little pouch here, pocket, which I also don't use. So it's not practical, it's just to create this sporty style. I'm really happy with this one, with this garment. It was my first hoodie and the only one at the moment. I might make another one in the future. I have an image in mind, but I digress. So back to the sweater. I said about the collar, about the raglan lines, and when I came to this point, all the other colors of Drops Air which I do have like remnants of yarn, different colors. They didn't match these ones. They were either too bright or too like muddy, had a bit of gray in them, and well, I realized that they would probably spoil the sweater rather than make it nicer. So I decided to proceed with plain green. This Drops Air mixed olive color. Well, not exactly olive, never mind. Yeah, this green one. And I ran out of it. Just before I went on vacation, I realized that I didn't have enough. And on coming back, I ordered a skein of yarn. Here it is. And I was really worried that it might not be the right color. As you know, yarn could differ if the lot is different. Luckily, it's not that noticeable. I can't see exactly where I joined the yarn here, because with such yarns as this, I simply pull the end using the needle right inside the other one, because it has a hole inside, right? It's like a little pipe, and the yarn could easily go inside, and the joint is less noticeable this way. It might be a little bit noticeable if you're not really neat here, but at least you don't have to think of any complicated ways to weave in yarns. With such type of yarn, it's really convenient. I love it. And I can't see the difference here. I guess it was like maybe 5 to 10 centimeters here, probably. And I wonder if you could see anything on camera. Is there any difference? This would be interesting even for me to find out, because with my eye I can probably see a little bit difference. I would say that this shade is slightly cooler than the one I used first, but it's not that noticeable. It could have been way worse, and there is not any proper line in between them, and I'm totally happy about. Now I need just to finish it. I finished the sleeves, but that's not final, because I just pulled one stitch through another one, and I'm not quite happy with what it looks like. I can't say I like this finishing. I just first I wanted to work the edges just like I did here with the collar, to pick stitches without working this purl round. Just knit a few rounds on each side and then use Kitchener stitch. But now I'm afraid it might thicken the fabric so much that I wouldn't like it at all. So I'm in two minds about it. I might either use purl stitches instead of the knit ones. That way I might like it more. But first I need to finish the body. So it's either gonna be that I try it on one of the sleeves, the picking stitches, and finishing with Kitchener stitch, or if it doesn't work, it will be either purl stitches, bind off, or maybe I'll have enough patience to work with the needle and cast off with the needle. It will make it identical just to the regular long tail cast on, and would probably look nicer. I'll experiment. So you see, this sweater is in itself an experiment, how to use the yarn that is not enough for a proper project and make a wearable sweater. At least right now I could say it's wearable. Not that I'm totally satisfied with it, but I love the colors. It's super soft, warm, and it makes it a great sweater for winter, probably for skating in winter, although it might be way too warm in it. So I'll show it to you in a moment. Please comment in the comments if you have any questions or advice about the raglan shaping. Actually, when I ordered this yarn, the skein to finish the sweater, I of course couldn't order just one skein. You know what it's like with us knitters, right? Our yarn stash keeps growing even if we don't want it to. So it seemed worth to order a bit more. So here I have a little extra to my stash. 2 skeins of Drops Fabel. I wonder if it's Fabel or Fable, because I don't know. Fable in English has a different spelling, and Drops, that's Norwegian, so if it is a Norwegian word, well, if you speak Norwegian, please tell me and other viewers if it should be Fable or Fabel. I'm just curious, just linguistically. That's a solid color sock yarn. Actually, I used this previously when I worked on my stockings, gray stockings with leaves, very intricate pattern. I love that. And I decided, why not grab a couple skeins for a pair of socks, especially since they are this pumpkin orange, which matches, by the way, no, not exactly, but sort of matches my current hoodie and might make like theme socks for this channel. So this is going to be an autumn knit, I believe, later on. And while waiting on the yarn for the sweater, I worked a few rows on the bed cover, which I could admit, yeah, I can admit I haven't been working on it lately. So I worked like maybe 4 centimeters the other day, but that's definitely not enough to finish it in the nearest future. So my plan is to finish the sweater, then focus on the bed cover and work minimum like 20 centimeters, 20 to 30 centimeters without any interruptions, apart from a couple of tutorials for this channel. So coming to tutorials, I'll share what I have plans for in a moment. I forgot to grab them, so wait a sec. Well, I'm back, and I've got a couple of things which I could make a video about, a tutorial. First, here is the bookcase, my e-reader bookcase, which I made, I guess it was last autumn, and it's been useful since. I had a rather old leather one, well, not genuine leather, but like artificial leather one, and it didn't look very nice because it's been used, yeah, for a long time, and I decided I need to make a new one, and I crocheted it last autumn, as I've already mentioned, and I'm super happy with it. First, it's pretty light. It's easy to make and it's colorful. I love this combination of yellow and gray. It's rather tight. I'd say it fits my e-reader rather tightly, which is good because it doesn't fall out of it even if I don't close this, but I do have this little button to make it secure. And if you would like me to make a tutorial, not on this pattern, because I used the pattern which was in this book. I haven't showed it before on the channel, and actually I'm using the same book for my bed cover. It has a lot of schemes and color combinations for mosaic crocheting, and it's a great book to learn the technique. If you want me to make a more detailed review, I could do it. Just let me know in the comments below. It's in Russian, but it's mostly schemes, so it's easy to understand what's going on. I'm not sure if you can buy it abroad, but I'll share the name of the book in the info box below the video, and if you're interested and curious, you might Google it. So if you want a review, just let me know. I'm not gonna use the patterns which are in the book, which just wouldn't be fair and nice. I might create my own because it's pretty simple with mosaic crochet, and I now understand what the principle, the basic should be. And I might create another pattern and work another case for my book to change them now and then, depending on my mood and the book I'm reading. And as I've been using it a lot recently, well, at least on holiday, I used my ebook quite a lot, and I appreciated it greatly. And if you're interested, let me know in the comments. I'll think about it and start choosing the pattern for it. Another thing which is of great use is this simple case for my sunglasses. It has a button hole, a button. Here are the glasses themselves. And that's what it looks like. It's pretty simple, so great for beginners. I like how the yarn made these cute waves in here, sandy waves. Well, it has associations with holidays, with vacation on the seacoast. At least I love it. This one I made probably last summer for my sunglasses. It's cotton, like 100% cotton, and the yarn was in print, wasn't it? I'll check this out. And a print, I think. And it's crocheted. Very basic, worked in the round, but still I might make a tutorial on how to do this for beginners, or maybe for those who are mostly into knitting and not so that much in crochet, but would like to have such a practical and cute thing for the summer. So again, let me know in the comments if you would like to work on this, because tutorials, they should be followed, right? People should make things according to them. What's the point of recording if no one's making such stuff? So let me know in the comments if you would be interested, and I'll choose which to start with, which to choose for my next tutorial on the channel. This seems to be all if we're talking about current projects. So my plan is now to finish the sweater, work on the bed cover, and think about the following tutorials on the channel. Of course, I do want to start a beautiful summer dress, which I have linen yarn for, but I believe then I might have too many projects at a time, and I've already mentioned in the previous videos that I'm like a monogamous knitter. I prefer to work on one or maximum two projects at a time, not on more. If I have too many projects, I can't concentrate, and I want my projects to be finished. I want to see them finished, to see the result, to feel the satisfaction of finishing the project, of putting a sweater on and wearing it and using stuff that I make. So I might not start too many new projects, and each time when I record a podcast, I feel that I don't have too many things to talk about, to discuss, but that's how I work with my handmade stuff. So you could share your experience again in the comments if you would like to work on one thing at a time or on numerous projects. That would be interesting to share and to read about. Thank you for your attention. This seems to be all for this video. Happy knitting, hope you enjoy your crafts, and see you in the next video on this channel. Bye!